Hey, Tren,
No, Lou.
what are we up to today?
We are, what are we talking about? The metaphors. We have a shit ton of metaphors in the tarot.
We do have a shit ton of metaphors in the tarot, and these are the things that might come to you by way of saying. So, metaphor is figure of speech. It describes a thing, a person, a place, an action, or a situation. It's symbolic in its language, so it's a figurative language.
Yes.
So it's like, you know, when you hear those people say figuratively speaking,
Yeah,
that's a
what
metaphor.
Yeah.
So we're going to have a look at some of the things that come up for us or that have come up for us during our time as readers. But first things first.
What are we going to pick a card?
We're going to pick a card. We're going to remember this week. Pick a card. Oh, look at that! Just dropped out.
It dropped out.
Ah,
Well, we've got the Page of Swords.
yeah, and it's
We're using the Art
Nouveau.
Nouveau deck. It's the Page of Swords. There you go.
So,
nice.
yeah, what do you make of that, Trent?
He's got a really firm stance, hasn't he?
Hasn't he? Like he's really taken a step.
Yeah.
There you go.
Taking a stance.
Taking a stand.
Started already.
Started already. There you go. Taking the stand. Yeah.
But it's almost like he's really ready for action. See?
Yeah. Well, he is, but he's looking over his shoulder.
Yeah, he's looking
isn't
over
he?
his shoulder.
So he's kind of like, to me, stuck in his head a little bit about what's happened in the past. So, and yet his feet are facing forward. So he's kind of in this conflicting position, yet not. So he's a bit defensive, that guy.
It is. And you talking about, you know, he's up in his head. I look at the clouds behind his head, and it's the same on the Rider-Waite. Your mind's not clear.
Your mind's not clear.
You're a bit foggy, you know, you sort of just do not, especially with this card, don't take action until you are clear.
Yeah.
You've got a direction, but you don't have all the information. That's what I sort of feel.
Yeah, and it's kind of like in context for today's podcast, it might be you're not quite sure about the metaphors or what they are, and maybe you get a little bit more clarity as you go on. Maybe you got some of your own. We would love to hear what they are.
Tell us what they are.
Yeah, because there's absolutely no right or wrong.
And and you might actually find, you know, that a certain card brings up a saying from a movie or a song. Same thing.
That's the same. Yeah, exactly right. Because we want to channel the information. So this is how we do it. So I think that's pretty cool.
You'll find your own way.
You will. I'm going to put these down. I keep bloody shuffling them. Okay.
Yeah, I find it, and you'll find it. I don't know. I find it when you shuffle, and you're not actually pulling cards, but you're just shuffling. It's quite meditative. It's like you can just, like, you know, just keep shuffling and just let your mind wander.
I think it can be too, and quite meditative, as you said.
Meditative.
Yeah, I knew what you meant. It's all good. Maybe I don't know. There's a word.
There's a word.
Which way does that go? Okay, so let's look at the cards. Let's start looking at them, and as we pull them up and speak about it, we're going to be quiet for a second, so that you can see if you've got some of your own before we share what that actually is. All right. So let's start, shall we?
Now, what have we got? We're starting with the world. We're starting with the world. Now we're going to have a bit of a mixture between Rider-Waite, the Dragon Tarot and the Lightseers deck.
We are. So and there's a reason for that, which you'll understand as we go along, right? So this is the Rider-Waite world card. Yeah. Right.
And she's known as the world dancer, isn't she?
She is known as the world dancer. Yeah. Well, she can be, or she has been known as the world dancer. So what's the metaphor?
Was it the world's your stage?
All the world's your stage, right? So that's what that can be. All the world's a stage. So as that card may come up in a reading, different things may come to light for you, obviously, but the metaphor is all the world's a stage, which would tell you then that the person is either on stage in their life, is the center of attention, or maybe is acting something out. Yes. Right? So that's, there you go.
Yeah, so interesting.
Okay. So I'm going to do this card a bit different.
Okay.
So if there's more than meets the eye.
Oh, there's something hidden, isn't there?
There's something hidden. There's your clue. What is it? That's like, which card shows the hidden?
Actually, the High Priestess.
Yes, it is the High Priestess, and there she is, and that's hidden there in the scroll. So, and she's mysterious, right? So she's, you know,
very mysterious.
Very mysterious. Speaks to the mysteries.
So yes.
So
like asking you to delve deep into it, isn't she?
She is.
You know,
she is.
Yes. So like she says, there's more than meets the eye.
More than meets the eye with this chick. Yeah, more than meets the eye. All right. You're chariot awaits,
Oh, you
my
carried
dear.
away. We're not giving anything away.
We gave nothing away there. That would be the chariot
chariot.
itself, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, life's a highway is what comes to
Oh,
mind for
of
me.
course,
Or, you know,
yes.
I drove
what's-
all night.
Yeah, and what's it? The road less travelled.
Road less traveled. Yeah, there you go. So you can see how the metaphors can come in.
Yes.
And depending on like which metaphor, song, or whatever it
What-
is that comes into mind, will let you know where the client is at.
Exactly. Yep.
All right. What's this next one, Trent?
What's this one? Oh, it's life is a roller coaster.
Life is
It's
a roller coaster. So what card do you think that might
Oh,
be?
it has to be the Two of
Has
Pentacles.
to be the
With
Two of
that,
Pentacles.
you know, up and down, up and down.
Up and down. Yeah, that's it. So definitely.
Or what goes
um,
up must come down.
Yeah, that's another one. What goes up must come down. So
Yeah.
yeah, I was going to add another card, but I won't. I'll contain
Okay.
myself. Yeah.
No clarifying cards at the moment.
So there you go. So that's that. All right.
Yeah.
What do we got then? Okay. So the metaphor that says hope is a lighthouse in troubled waters.
So who shines the light?
Ah, yes. Who shines the light?
It's the Hermit.
It's the Hermit, right? So his
Yeah.
hope is here.
Yeah.
In there.
In that light.
In that light, because he will shine the light like beneath for those to see.
Yeah. But it's not light, it's not bright enough that they can just walk straight up. They still have to find
They
their
still have to
way.
find their own way, right?
Yeah.
But he's the hope that
Yeah.
represents the completion of that, because
Yes.
here he is on top
Yes.
of that mountain, right?
Yeah. Right.
Which is pretty bloody interesting. Yes, I'm going to start connecting all these cards in another session. But anyway, all right. So who marches to the beat of his own drum?
Yeah, that's fun. That's the Fool.
That's the Fool.
Because he's one that I suppose does not look where he's going, but look where he's going. But he does it in his own time, marches to his own drum.
He does. He does. Like
Doesn't
life's a journey, right?
Exactly.
And that's what he's about. Life's
Takes
a
a leap
journey.
of faith.
Leap of faith. Yep.
So yeah. And if this card does come up, you know, it could be just an individual who does not follow the norm.
Yeah. You know, starting that new journey, taking that leap of faith, just,
Yeah.
you know, like doing the own thing in their own way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not so much a rule breaker, but just doing things their own way.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he just might not give a shit.
Yeah.
Like he's just right at the very
Yeah,
beginning,
exactly.
right? And yeah, he's open to adventure and he's
Very
curious,
much.
which is what I love. So
Yes, very much.
curiosity killed the cat. There's another
Oh,
one
there's
for you.
another one. There's another
Curiosity
one.
killed the cat. So all these things that might come to mind. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So round and round it goes, and where it
Yeah,
stops, nobody knows. Which one's that?
That's the Wheel of
That's the
Fortune.
Wheel of
Or the Wheel.
Fortune.
Some
Yeah,
of them
or
just
the
call it the
wheel.
Wheel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it does just go
It just,
round.
it's like a life cycle. Well, it is. It's the life cycle, isn't it? It just goes.
Absolutely.
round.
Cycles, all the things. Yeah.
So, that's the only one we can think of for the Wheel of Fortune.
There's probably a whole lot more. So, you know, that's
Yes,
just
yeah.
what we're at now. Now we're going to compare.
Yeah,
Are
this
we
is where we
comparing?
get,
Yeah, we are.
yeah,
We're
yeah,
going
we
to,
are.
I'm like, what the fuck are we doing? Yeah, we're going to compare. So we're going to talk about a burning torch.
Yes, and this
Right.
is where we're going to compare.
Yeah.
It's actually the Ace of Wands, and what we're showing you is the Dragon Tarot. You can actually see that
The flame
burning
and the
torch.
burning. Yeah.
And then if we compare it to the Light Seers, she's got the burning idea.
Hers is like the flame of
Flame,
light,
yeah.
if you will, or the flames that light you up, whereas the other one's like you're kind of cracking it open. So
Yeah,
it's
you
like
really
that
are.
burning
it's got-
torch,
yeah.
you know.
And then if we compare the Light Seers, not the Light Seers, the Rider Waite, you know, this is the Light Seers with the flame. The Rider Waite is just a straight up wand. So there's, you know, so as you can see, there are so many different things to look at.
Absolutely. And as Tren is showing you, the different decks potentially bring out different metaphors.
Exactly,
right?
different metaphors.
Which is why I don't know about you, but I like to have a few different decks, you
I
know,
like
like have my working deck and then I
Yes.
start to introduce different decks and Currently I work with the Dragon Tarot as well as the
Yeah.
Rider-Waite. I think Rider-Waite will always be my
I
thing.
think that's my main one, and then I
Yeah.
go back to the light seers.
And
That's
then
what
I'll
I'm doing.
jump in with other things,
Yeah.
like, you know, sometimes it might be the Art Nouveau or the
Yeah.
Light Seers, or, you know, something, or like, I'm thinking, how many cards have we got, Tren?
Yeah, exactly.
But they definitely show, they can pull out
They
of,
give you more
out of it. Yeah,
information
more
for the same, you
information.
know, you've still got the same theme, but it's just giving you more information.
Yeah, and the metaphor will kind of take you down a different track, I think, is the
Yeah.
point of this whole exercise, is to say, well, you know, like you see the Ace of Wands in the Rider-Waite, and
Yeah.
you might think, oh yeah, new job, blessings for good beginnings.
Exactly.
But it's action oriented and it's pretty clear. And we also know that the wands are about being connected to the element of fire,
Fire.
right? So that's where that
So,
comes
yeah.
from. And yet you might look at that dragon card,
Yeah.
and it's like, you see, he's really cracked that egg
Yeah,
open.
he really has. It's been purposeful, hasn't it?
A very purposeful action taken. So the action's kind of taken, which is now leading to what's coming out. So, you know, it's like, it might be have a crack.
Have a crack.
Yeah, have a crack.
Yeah.
Crack it open. That kind of thing, you know. And then when you see the light seers, I look at that, and it might be more about the flame of passion, you know,
yes.
because something in her mind is
it's burning hot, isn't it?
burning hot, yeah. So,
and that could
can
be
desire,
you know,
or something,
exactly,
you know.
a passion.
So, a passion, yeah. So we
Yeah.
hope that that card does not, to me, look like she's hot-headed, but
it's more focused.
it's more of a focus thing. However, if that was to come to mind, that would be okay too.
That's what first thing came. Yes, go with it.
Yeah,
Go with it.
so each different deck will bring out a different metaphor, and
Yes.
then take it down a different track, even though the Ace of Wands itself overall is definitely about taking the first action, or the first step, right?
Yes.
So yeah, but into, you know, you've cracked it open, now what?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So yeah.
See how what other rabbit holes we can go down.
Probably go down a few, I'd say. So these next two, so we want the Ace of Wands, yeah.
We've got to pull up the Ace of Wands.
Yeah. So what we're going to do here, not this one.
Not that one.
So what we're going to do here is we're going to put just two cards together, just to give you a little example of how, metaphorically or figuratively speaking, you can move through the tarot reading as a story.
Yes.
Right. So here we have an old flame.
So the old flame would be the Six of Cups.
Because it's the old and the past. And the flame, of course,
would be the Ace of Wands.
Would be the Ace of Wands. So
no, we've gone back to the Rider-Waite, but
just for this moment in time, yeah. So you can, that's how those two cards together can technically speak to an old flame.
Yes.
Right, as that kind of metaphor. So yeah, be paying attention to how the cards present, because two metaphors might come together, and they can join and become one, right? So old flame.
Exactly.
Or just words from the cards.
Yes.
You know, like I always say, you don't need to know every single meaning of the cards, because all of these symbols and pictures and metaphors and all that stuff is going to give you a lot more insight anyway. So when you start to piece a word or two together, this is how those metaphors can come about again.
Yes.
Pretty cool, I reckon. All right. Who has a deep, dark secret? Different to the more than meets the eye.
Yeah, this
right?
is a deep, dark secret. So what's coming up from the dark?
Gives it away. What's coming up?
It's the moon.
The moon.
But this could also be the dark night of the soul too.
Absolutely. It can be. There's another card also that can be the dark night of the soul. I've just thought about that. Anyway, we'll come to that when we get there. Yeah. So and why would it be the dark night of the soul, and why is it deep, dark secret?
Well, with the moon, to me, it's all about subconscious and stuff coming up from your subconscious to be acknowledged, to be released a lot of times, because you're not going to carry it into your future, your present and your future. It's not holding you back, isn't it?
Well, you'd hope you're not bloody going to do that.
No, don't do that.
So no, don't do that. Yeah. So the deep, dark secret, because those, you think about that lobster and how deep and murky it could get. Like, Some of the moon cards have a crab on them. I think about the
Yes.
mud crabs.
Oh,
You know, they
yeah,
get
yeah,
right
into
down
the
and
right down, don't
right
they?
down. So yeah,
Yeah.
that can be.
Well, when you think about crabs anyway, they dig, you walk on the beach in the little holes, so they're in there. They're deep and dark.
They're
Yeah,
right.
they're hiding.
Hiding. So yeah, it's that deep dark secret.
Yeah.
All right. So
Now we have a bit of a saying for this next one.
yes, it is, and I'll just read it to you.
Yeah.
So it's 4 things do not come back: the spoken word, the sped arrow, the past life, and the neglected opportunity.
Yes.
Which card are we talking about?
Well, yeah, what maybe opportunities pass you by?
Mhm.
It's the 4 of Cups.
Yeah, so as you look at the 4 of Cups, you'll see that there's this cup that's being presented that might pass him by, that may
Yeah.
not come back, that he's dismissed.
Yeah, he's
you know,
ignoring.
he's ignoring.
Yeah.
So it can be that.
Yes. So I often think, yeah, and sometimes, not always, but sometimes I think when this card comes up, you just cannot see the opportunities coming your way
That's
because you are
true.
so focused on what's right in front of you. You can't see anything else.
Yeah, and a good question to ask, just divert for a second,
Yeah.
to ask yourself when that card comes up is, what else is possible?
Yeah,
So to be open to what else is
Yeah,
possible. Yeah.
exactly. And what's next? What's next?
What's next? What's next? Yes, I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
What's next? Okay. All right. What do we got now? Oh, here we go. We're going to go for a bit of a search.
Yeah.
Because if I go out of order, Tren, I'll fuck it up.
What?
We got this
Oh, we've got that
here
one.
out. Yeah. So pull him out. This can also be the Dark Night of the Soul, as well as
Stabbed in the back. I think that gives it away, doesn't it? It's the 10 of Swords.
stabbed in the back.
So yes, I
Yeah.
can understand about the Dark Night of the Soul because you are just hammered right down, aren't
You
you?
are.
It's
You're not going to
like
get
you're
any
not
lower
gonna-
than that,
you're-
right?
you've
That's
just been
that requires
rock
rebirth.
bottom.
Yeah,
Rock
rock bottom.
Rock
There's another
bottom.
one, rock bottom. No? So you can see how these things all come up and they
Yeah.
all play. So
Yeah.
if let's just play with this for a second. So if the metaphor was rock bottom,
Mhm.
right, then we would be able to help guide the client through, look, this is rock bottom. It's not
Yeah.
going to get any worse. You're going to, things are going to start to get better.
Exactly.
When you're talking about Dark Night of the Soul, then that's like experiencing a death in and of itself,
Mhm.
right? So that person is like, that's deep, and everything is changing. So Dark Night of the Soul is and what did I say? What were we talking about? The Dark Night of the Soul.
What's
And
the other one with the moon? It's the moon.
no. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's gone out of my fucking brain. So basically, yeah, the Dark Night of the Soul is everywhere. Whereas in some instances, it can just be referring to just that situation. Whereas the Dark Night of the Soul is everything. Right? So that's kind of the change in that.
Exactly.
And then there's the metaphorically stabbed in the back, because you can see that that person has literally been stabbed in the back as we look at that right away.
Exactly. And you can also, well, the only way is up now, isn't it? The only way is up.
Yeah.
If you choose.
Yeah. So there's, fresh new beginnings.
Yeah.
Does this make sense? I hope that makes sense. Yeah. Went down
Another way of looking at the 10 of Swords.
The 10 of Swords, yeah,
Yeah.
just sort of went down a whole different
Yeah.
fucking track there. All right, if we're feeling under the weather,
We've got to take a rest, haven't we? Have a lie down.
Don't you love that? And that, of course, then leads us to the 4 of Swords,
Yeah.
right? Which is, you see the person and this differs, I guess. Some people actually see like that as the coffin, and that's a tomb. However, the card is one of letting you know you need to stop, slow down, and rest. So very much about rest and health, right? Looking after health.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Even almost processing what's gone on beforehand.
Absolutely processing that fucking heartache, for
Yes.
argument's sake.
Yeah, well, yes. Well, we're going in the same. It is.
Into
It's the
that.
3 of Swords, and then it goes to the 4 of Swords. So you do need to process.
You do need to process that. Process that shit that just happened. All right. So what if you're my shining star?
Of course, you're wishing upon a star, aren't you?
Wish upon a star.
It's the
Yeah,
star.
it's the star card itself. So yeah, that's pretty self-explanatory, that one.
Yep.
And then, okay, Here's a metaphor for you. Chaos is a friend of mine.
We have another name for this card.
Yeah, we do.
Stick
with sticks. So yeah, Five of Wands. So here on the Rider-Waite deck, you can see that looks a little chaotic. No one's cooperating.
Exactly.
They're kind of forcing their own way in. And yet on the Lightseer's card, it looks like they're more cooperative and they're building to something.
Yeah.
Yet they are reaching independently. Right, so there's an independence to the Five of Wands in the Lightseer's deck, and pure chaos.
And pure chaos in the Rider-Waite.
In the Rider-Waite. So again, two different cards to show you how they can lead you down
different
paths, yeah, or more specific information.
Yes, exactly.
If that makes sense. All right, so we're going to look at two peas in a pod.
Now, we're using the Lightseer's deck for this one because it's more obvious, isn't it?
It is, and then we'll compare the others. So
it's a Two of Cups.
Yeah, so here you see on the Lightseer's deck, two hands intertwined, two bowls underneath, and the energy which is expressed in the rainbow colours sort of mixing together. Right, so two peas in a pod is what comes to mind for me for that. And then when we look at the cups, the Two of Cups and the dragons, it's like they're kind of sizing each other up before they come together.
Yeah, it is.
So it's not a total connectedness as yet, I feel, in that. And yet there's indications that they're coming together and this will be good.
And then if we look at the Lightseer, keep getting them mixed up, the Rider-Waite.
Yeah.
It's a coming together, but it's a very, I quite often see sometimes this is quite of a hesitant coming together. Even though it's because of the wings or the angel it's a divine connection. It's not a full-on connection at the start.
Yeah, it's like that. It is definitely the beginning of it's the heartfelt connection though, because the cups are lined up in the heart. That's so interesting.
Yeah, it's almost, like I often see with this one is very prepared, that one figure is very prepared, the other one has just been thinking about it.
Well, I can see how you're saying, looking at that. So have a look at that.
So and again, compare. If you've got other decks, compare the same card and see what you get from them.
Absolutely, compare them. Now, this is going to be the last one for this little session. We're going to do session 2 on this.
Yes.
So we are looking at here. We're going to compare again.
Yes.
I like the comparing.
I do. I really do.
Comparing. Okay. Stabbed in the heart.
Stabbed in the heart.
Stabbed. Oh my God, they stabbed me in the heart. Which one?
Has to be the Three of Swords, doesn't it?
Three of Swords, right? And there it is there in the Rider-Waite deck. And we see the swords literally going through the heart. So stabbed in the heart being the metaphor. So figuratively speaking, further along the journey, what if we look at the dragons, and in the dragons, it's like the heart has been ripped out. So it's like, have you heard people say, I have my heart ripped out of my chest?
Yes.
So they're different.
They're different.
Right? Stabbed in the heart and heart ripped out of the chest. Both insinuating heartache.
Exactly.
Right? And yet
if we look at the Lightseers, which is completely different, it's almost like
your heart's torn.
Heart's torn, isn't it?
Torn or ripped apart.
Yeah. So it's very different to the dragon where it's been ripped out. This has been actually been pulled apart and then mended and pulled apart, and it's almost like the heartache that continues.
Yeah, that continuous trauma. Yeah, so interesting. You can see just in those three cards how the metaphor or the figurative language is a little different for each of them, and yet
all meaning the same. A lot of heartache and hurt and grief, even. Broken hearts.
I think this is like
this is very grief. That one, the light.
Yeah, well,
that one really represents. The Lightseers really represents grief, and it's almost like you heal and then it gets torn apart again, and you heal because I will take a photo, but you can actually see on the Lightseers where the heart has been stitched back together.
Oh wow!
So I will take a photo so you can see, but it is. And then it's been torn apart again and stitched back. And so it's almost like not a continually rip, but
Yes.
like you are continually hurt. So you heal and then you rip apart again, or
It's
something
just
else
really
happens.
interesting because depending again on the card decks that you use will depend, like if you're using metaphors, will
Yeah.
depend on the metaphors that come up for you.
Exactly.
Because
Yeah.
chances are all the cards are going to tell a similar story if you were to come and have them done. I know
Yeah.
using a couple of decks, I find that.
Yes.
One just sort of gives me just that little bit more information, or is able to show me something in a different light where I'm like,
Yes.
oh, okay. And doing this kind of stuff really helps with the blind spots, which is what
Exactly.
we spoke
What
about a few weeks
yeah,
ago.
exactly. You know, sort of really putting layer upon layer upon layer.
Absolutely, layer upon layer upon layer. Yeah, there you go.
But it is, it's sort of, you know, and again, if you have the chance to have more than one deck, really compare, really use them.
Absolutely, it gives you
And-
all these different words.
Yeah, and it's almost like
know?
you can be a little bit complacent with one deck because you
Yeah,
get the
you can.
same meaning
You can.
because you see the same cards all the time. But when you mix it up, you can just see how we've
We've just
through a
played
whole,
with
yeah,
that, you know.
yeah.
So yeah. So we hope that you've enjoyed this episode, because we'll be
Yes.
back with more of these
We
metaphors,
will.
because there's a shit ton of them.
Because there's only 78 cards. We've
Yeah.
got a few to go.
You're hilarious. Okay, have an amazing day, beautiful
Yes,
people.
yes, and thank you for listening, for watching, for encouraging,
yeah,
for supporting us.
supporting,
We really,
all the
really, yeah,
things.
we really appreciate it. So
We do.
thank you.
So have an
Thank you.
amazing day and big, big love.
See you later.
Bye.